Welcome back to the channel. We are basically going to get right into it on this one. We got our intake manifold back from ceramic coating or Cerakoting. I'm not sure how you say it, but yeah, pretty much got that coating, and you can see the color nice and black. So from what he explained to me is that this coating, it is better for heat, but it is not necessarily a powder coat, where a powder coat will be a tougher, harder to just kind of scratch off and whatnot. This will scratch off with like dropping something on it, something along those lines. So that's why it's saran wrapped right now. We're basically gonna saran wrap it, bring it over here, push it on, get it tightened down, and then we'll take the saran wrap off, and then we'll kind of button everything else up around it. So yeah, let's get into it. I can't wait to get this thing on there, see what it looks like in there with the skunk too. I need to actually put that back on too, because that is actually completely taken off. I put it together, everything was good, and then I was like, I should powder coat it, so, or ceramic coat it. So now we're at that level. So once that's done, a long time in the future, probably when I end up taking this thing apart again, I'll get the turbo inlet ceramic coated as well, and then I'll also do the same for the exhaust manifold. So cool. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's knock this out. I want to get this car driving again so I can drive it and then get it all buttoned up. So if you remember the last time, I pretty much had my block off plates that I took off. I just cleaned them up again. That's why they're all scratched up. But yeah, I need to put at least the back one back on. The front one is easy to get to, but the back one, I definitely am not trying to mess around with after the fact. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt this over, pull the back off, at least for that one section. Hang on, maybe you'll see it with me. This section right here, pretty much gonna fix it. Make sure it's covered up with the plate, and then we'll be good. Okay, so I ripped a little hole open. That way everything else is still overall protected, but this just kind of shows you the level. I did a little scratch right there, but little piece of metal, if something drops on it, little scuff that you see right there. Nothing major, kind of dragging it on there, little stuff. So it definitely will get scratched up. That's kind of what he's talking about before. Not too worried, because this will cover obviously all the stuff I just did, and this needs to get cleaned off anyway. But I'm gonna shove some cardboard down in there or something to just kind of block that off, make sure nothing gets in there, and then I will kind of draw a line of where I want to clean up for this and place it on there. So let's go. Cool. So got our area covered off. We're basically gonna put this on. So we'll use some 1000 grit, 1500 something, just scrape this off. Like I said, I'm gonna put some plastic in there, cover that up, but or something to cover that up, and then go. All right, we got our piece a little blocked off, and then we have there's a good piece shoved far down in there, so it shouldn't be able to get past that. And then we have our base kit, just 1000 grit. So we'll just rub this on here. Should have this kind of sitting somewhere more secure, but it's kind of scraping it up. So we'll just do this for a little bit. And if it comes up easy enough, which it looks like it is, kind of see it shining through right there. But yeah, let me clean this up real quick and then I'll get back. All right, this should be good enough, essentially. 1000 grit was taking forever. So switch to, oh, it doesn't show it. 220 is what that says, 220 grit. And then went down to 1000 just to clean that off. And it seems like it works pretty well. So I'm really just care about the center part. I don't care about the edges as much, just making sure that this gets a nice bead around it and it's sealed. So we can throw that on, keep it pushing, and then we'll get this in. We can do the front after it's in and go from there. All right, we have our gray silicone because I ran out of the black. So we'll use this for now, throw it on there. Our bolts are down there. So let me set this on, and then I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. So let me sit it on, throw the bolts in, tighten it up, should be set. All right, so we got our little connection put on there, on to putting this whole thing in. So let me get the replacement one ordered. For you guys, that'll just be 2 seconds. And just like that, new package is here. So let's get this open, and then we can compare the differences between that and the one that is obviously not meant for a Miata. sweet. All right, you can already see a noticeable difference here. This has the block off part that's needed. So I'm gonna put this on so it'll actually go right here, which is gonna get blocked off anyway, but either way, you can definitely see where this should be. Let's see, this is upside down. Oh, this is upside down. That way they're in the same orientation. Okay. So same orientation. The only major difference is besides that being there and that not being there, these have the top pieces. I don't even know how I didn't notice this wasn't a Miata one. I just don't even understand. But yeah, now we have the right one. Mazda 1.6. So we'll take this out, throw it on, get our intake manifold back over there from the corner, throw it on, and then we should be set. Back to it. All right, we got the thing out. We got the gloves on. Let's make sure it fits, shall we? Oh, wow, imagine that. It actually fits. Cool. So we will get this all lined up, ready to go. Now that it's on there, and then let's go ahead and get this and throw it on there. Okay, so I've been messing around with this thing for like an hour, and I think, if you can see this clearly, hopefully, these edges, basically when it's faced like this edge is rubbing up against the side of this manifold. So it's just, yeah, it's too much. So I'm gonna scrape this down, grind it down a little bit on the edge, and then see if that helps. It's literally just this nub, that's all the space that I need, and we should be good. So we'll try that here in a second. All right, so we went that little nub. From this to smooth. So see if that works out a little bit better for what we're trying to accomplish here, and then go from there. All right, and in order to get to the bottom bolts, we essentially need to take all the saran wrap off. So let's get to taking that out of there so we can actually put the rest of this on. Hot dang. That's good. Nice. There's just the one mark. Probably didn't want to stab it with the scissors. Get you guys a better view. I am a happy camper. We can get back to putting everything in there. Connecting it up on the bottom side. Then we'll put the skunk part back on. And then we can put our block off on the front back on. And we should be set. So get back to work. Cool, so now there is a block off plate at the bottom that I need to get to, and I'm just gonna use the same 450, shave it off just to make sure the black stuff is off from the powder coat, and then yeah, go from there. rest of the manifold looks great. And basically the throttle cable piece does not look that great. So I'm just gonna spray this with some satin black real quick, just trying to clean up a little bit of it. So I'll spray this down real quick. And then that way we'll have somewhat of a matching car. All right, we have our little piece. Now that will basically have the 90 and a straight. So we can have those knocked out real quick, throw it on, and then yeah, we'll be looking really pretty. Everything sits where it needs to. I just need to grind down that one edge on one of the ends and it would have been fine. So probably give myself a little more wiggle room by cutting down the other edge, but otherwise, yeah, we're looking good. So now that we're done, oh, you can't see anything because I'm blocking all the light. Here we go. This is the block off in the front now. So that is nice and sandwiched in there, nice and set. This whole thing is bolted up all the way on. Everything's nice and tight. Feel a lot better about this intake manifold than the other one because of this being actually bolted down for the injector. Prior it was kind of up there, so glad that that's on there. Now we can go ahead and throw on, where did it go? The little one for our return line that's up here. I just need to find what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Underneath my phone, of course. So now we have our return line piece. I just need to slap this on here straight in 45, and then yeah, make sure everything else works and goes from there. So stand by. Okay, so we have everything connected over here. This I couldn't push all the way over because this literally is touching it. So it's just a really tough angle to kind of accomplish. I probably could shave this down a little bit, the nipple itself, and bring it back a little bit just to give myself some more clearance, but we'll see how this goes. That'll be secondary idea if something goes wrong. But yeah, that's the brake booster, if anything. And then we have our return line now going straight back to our system. You tighten that up. And then, yeah, fuel line's done. Everything's done up here. Need to put the front back on. And away we go. This thing is so sick. Oh my gosh, it looks great now. Now, I think the issue we're going to run into is this being in the way because of, it was already touching it before. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely going to be touching it now. So, yeah. So the next thing before we actually can probably drive it, is we will take this out. Well, this needs to be more at an angle, so that way this can follow the line instead of straight on. I may end up getting another piece here and make another dash 16. Dash 16s are a pain in the ass to make, but I will gladly do so just to make sure this looks kind of nice again. Yeah. So that might be the next thing we do. But at least we'll fire the car up tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I'll fire it up before I take this out and do all that stuff, just to make sure everything's fine and it runs and blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so I lied. So pretty much this is gonna be a 3-inch now instead of the 2.5 that I had on there before. So no big deal. Get another one of those, should be set. And then this is the bigger part. I do need to take this out in order to get it cut and angled to go that way and then go straight down. So I will get working on taking all this out, dropping all the water again, and then yeah, take the radiator out, drop it off to my welder buddy who does aluminum, and then have him knock that piece out. I have another AN fitting for that, and then I'll probably have him just fix the bottom one too, so then I can actually run AN fittings down here, which is what we used to have. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, get pulling this thing out, see how far we can get. And the process to taking the radiator out begins again. All right, we got that done in record time. It's like 10-15 minutes. So yeah, clean up a little bit of this, just spray it down. I may end up replacing some of these AC seals, since I'm gonna eventually, keep saying this, 10 years in ownership, eventually gonna have AC. We might as well have that taken care of, just be ready to go. But otherwise, everything else looks good. from what I can tell. Crank still looks good. Everything else doesn't look like it's leaking, which is amazing and great. So I'll clean this off, but the radiator itself, I've had this thing on there forever. So it definitely could use a good cleaning if that wasn't apparent. So we got the pressure washer, we'll clean that up. This is from a long time ago. When I put it in too quickly, I hit an edge. All good, no big deal. And then, yeah. So if you don't know, I have dash 16 AN fittings welded on both ends. No real rhyme or reason, just thought, you know, it'd be cooler. So put them on. I cross-threaded this one, don't ask me how, long time ago. So now I just have the rubber hose on there, but I have another fitting. I've had another fitting for years too. I just have not wanted to take the radiator out for any real rhyme or reason until I absolutely needed to. So we have the other dash 16 line right here. Game plan, and the reason I took this out is we're going to chop this off because again, the angle was way too crazy in order to get over there. So may notch this back a little bit, may not. Just gonna really chop this at an angle and then lay another piece on so the water goes this way at an angle and then maybe downwards a little bit, but backside, not really worried. Chop that off, put a new one on, good to go. So the only thing I should have did is made the angle at which I wanted this to come off, but I have enough pictures, I think, that I should be good to determine how far over it needs to go. So yeah, but would have been better, would have definitely been better. So, and then if you ever do this and you end up getting skunk, it is a 3-inch that'll work for you. That way you can actually fit this on with ease. With ease. I have this AN fitting in my hand, hang on. There we go, with ease. This is for something different, but yeah, this will do what I need it to do. I need it to go down to the 2.5, so I have another one on order. This is gonna be gone because it's not needed, but everything else is down there. We finally put the black Nishimoto connection on there, elbow or coupler on there, so it's all black instead of there's that one blue one that I had in there for a while, so that's good. Still need to get dash 10 AN line, but yeah, I think at this point we can just test the fuel system. Maybe not, we'll hold off on that. I want to get the radiator and everything situated, but I think the fuel system should be set at this point as far as making sure it doesn't leak and things like that, so we may test that here in a bit. So I think that's going to conclude this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. We got plenty other things to really get into besides the radiator, besides getting this thing running. So yeah, stick around for the journey, man. Appreciate y'all watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.